For this training module, we will show how to manage failed tasks by creating a subgroup in which to drag the devices that failed on a specific task so the administrators can address the issue when they can. Go to Configuration, Standard Device Preferences, Printers, and notice we have a template to check the duplex setting of a device with long edge bind. We will create a configuration task to run that template against the devices in Brooklyn. Some items may fail since their last status showed no response. Select the Add button for a new configuration task and call it Apply Duplex Setting. Give it a description and select the Apply radio button. In the Templates tab, select the template for duplex setting and arrow it over to the target template list. In the Target Device Groups tab, select Add Target Groups and browse to North America, United States, New York, New York City, and Brooklyn. Select Brooklyn and arrow it over to the Targets Groups list. We won't schedule it because we only want to run it once. Save the task and select the blue Run Immediately button. Go to the task log and filter by selecting Configuration in the category drop-down menu. Notice that the task is running. While the task is running, we will go back to the device list and add a subgroup to Brooklyn. Right-click on Brooklyn and select Add Group. Name the group Failed Duplex Setting Devices, then select OK. We will then go back to the task log and refresh it to see if it is completed. Our next step is to see which devices failed so we can get them into the Failed Duplex Setting Devices list under Brooklyn. The easiest way to do this is to export this result into a CSV file and open it in Excel. Adjust the columns so they can be read, and enable Filter. Filter on the devices that failed and skipped. These are the devices that should be moved to the other group. Use the spreadsheet to reference the devices when you go back to the device list and move the failed and skipped devices into the Brooklyn Failed Duplex Setting Devices group. Notice that the last one we are moving didn't work because someone was scanning from it at the time. Now, when the administrator comes back later in the day or the next day, after he or she has addressed the issues on those devices, he or she has a group made that can be added as a new configuration task to rerun the same template. We can go back to the same configuration task, and instead of running it with Brooklyn, we can remove the Brooklyn group and add the failed subgroup we created. This is a good workflow to use when starting with many devices. For example, if you have 1,000 devices and get 800 of them that work, you can create a list, create a subgroup for the 200 devices that failed, and then run your task again after the device issues have been addressed. As the devices are addressed and no longer fail, they can be moved back into their original group. This way, if you cannot address all of the devices at one time, you will have a list to work from and will always know the status of the devices on that list. This is also a good reason to ensure that technicians or administrators configure the location field on the devices. If the location is not populated, you can create a standard device preferences general task to add a location. Then select the target devices that you know are in that location and run the task. If the locations are populated and all devices have been corrected, you can easily move the devices back to their original group by going to the group in the device list, right-clicking on it, and selecting Rename Edit. Then select the checkbox to add existing devices, select the Device Web Image Monitor location, equals, and Brooklyn. Click Select Devices to add the devices to the list, and then when you say OK, it will automatically add the devices to the Brooklyn group.